Hello, Carol Baker here. I'm going to look at a pose today called the tortoise. Very restorative, very calming, very slow pose, a bit like a tortoise itself. The benefits are releases deep into the lower back, but also into parts of your hips perhaps you didn't realise that you could open. If you see children perform the tortoise, they make it look incredibly easy. Most adults find it challenging on their hips and their lower back, but the benefits of it are phenomenal. So it is a seated pose, so we come onto the sitting bones, and I think what's important to stress first of all is that you're on those sitting bones, so you release everything else out of the way. If you want to use the analogy of the tortoise, your legs are shaped a bit like the tortoise shell, and the idea is you're going into hibernation, so your head will come down into the shell of the tortoise. Now certainly for me as a beginner, I looked at that floor and I just thought there is no way I'm going to get my head down there. So my advice is you find some cushions. If you have a bolster, even better. Bring the bolster in front of you, put a cushion in front of you, use your hands on the floor. Remember, the length is coming from your lower back and the openness is coming from your hips, so don't allow your knees to roll in. You may want a little bit of padding here underneath the outside of your ankles. So my hands are on the floor, I'm going to inhale, push back from my sitting bones and lengthen my spine. And as I exhale, I'm coming forward over this bolster. Inhale again, I'm going to lengthen, my chin is coming forward, and as I exhale, I'm coming forward again. I'm going to let my head go, and hopefully my first point of contact will be with the cushion. Okay, once this becomes okay and comfortable, I'm going to remove the cushion and I'm going to aim to get my elbows, I'm just going to bring that bolster in a little bit, onto the bolster. And then again, over the course of time, maybe I've put a smaller cushion here. I'm going to let the back of my neck go, let my lower back release, and I'm aiming to bring my head down onto that bolster. Noticing my knees aren't coming in, they're just allowing my hips to open by rolling out. So you can see gradually over time, gravity is going to do this pose for you. Your first major milestone is to get your elbows onto the floor. Once you get your elbows on the floor with your head on the bolster, I would get rid of your friend the bolster and I'd bring your cushion back. So with my elbows on the floor, notice I've taken my feet a little bit wider. With my elbows on the floor, I'm trying to bring my head forward. Now this has got to be lower back as well as hips. I can use my arms on the inside of my thighs to slowly soften myself down towards the cushion. Now the final element of this tortoise pose is actually to lose the arms completely. There are two variations of arm position. This one, I take my arms underneath my thighs with my palms facing up. Again, notice I've adjusted my legs a little bit. Now I can go back out and I'm trying to bring my elbows down to the floor. I'm using my arms to open my knees. And again, if I stay here long enough, my head can only go down either to a cushion or eventually to the floor. My second variation is I take my arms out to the side this way. And again, I come forward and I'm looking eventually to get my head on the floor. Finally, I really want to bring my head further forward and get my chest to come to the floor. So don't worry if you're where I was, which was up here for many moons. I promise you over the course of time, the longer you spend in this pose, the softer those hips become and the release will eventually come from the lower back and from the neck, and you will get down. You never ever see a tortoise rush. So don't suddenly come out of this pose quickly. Undo it as slowly as you went in. You will feel a kind of zinging sensation in your hips and lower back because you have gone very deep. And my advice is you just lie back, you take a moment to recover. Maybe you want to bring your knees up to your chest and have a little rock from side to side on that part of the spine that you've just been working. Or maybe you would prefer to just have a stretch out. Again, just roll onto the side to slowly come up sitting. Do you know the best place to practice the tortoise pose is actually on the bed, on the double bed. So you would take the cushions off and put the cushions in front of you. You've got a nice soft mattress underneath you, and you can slowly fold forward to take your forehead onto the cushions and gradually take a pillow away as you start to come down onto the mattress itself. Keep practicing, persevere. I promise you, you will get there eventually. Namaste.